Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. So today we're going to talk about my second trip to the jungle. That's right, I visited the Arts Theatre in London to see the Choir of Man for my second time. Let's get into it. So Choir of Man is a show that I got into this year. My first trip was to the UK tour, in which I went to go and see it in Coventry. I think it literally did Coventry and then it went up to Edinburgh. Could be wrong, there might have been somewhere before Coventry, but I'm sure that was the kind of thing. But that was a different cast, a different group of people. It was an excellent afternoon out, and when it was announced that it was going to be in London again after having a short run towards the end of last year, start of this year, me and my friends were like, oh my god, we have got to see this show, and now we've seen it together twice. So going in this time knowing what's going to happen kind of was a slightly different experience. However, it was in a different venue. Obviously it's more structurally, I was gonna say structurally sound, and that's not the word I needed, but it's more kind of stable. The thing with where it was in Coventry at the festival Gardens, it was a long name, I can't remember it, sorry Coventry, but with it where it was in Coventry, it was also a space for other places and other things, and therefore there was a kind of a moving around of set a lot. In the Arts Theatre everything is stationary, it does not move, and there is also two levels to it, where the main bar area is down the bottom and then there is musicians up the top, and the musicians can come downstairs. People from the Choir of Man can go up the upstairs. There's a bit of movement around, it's all very nice. The only thing that was different between my two experiences is that at the Coventry space the beers were available and they were free and they were offered up, so anybody could go on that stage and have a kind of quick snoop around, get a free beer and then go back to their seat, or stay on the stage. It's up to people. With this setup, if you would like to go and have an experience on the stage, you need a beer token. These beer tokens are sold in the bar area and also at the merchandise area, and they cost £5. Now I don't drink beer, I'm not really a drinker anyway, but I really don't like the taste of beer, and therefore because I don't drink I don't have the chance to go up there. My friend Emmy, who I went with, drinks beer. She got a token, she went up and experienced it, and she also took our other friend Mark up there just for the experience. However, I don't think they'd appreciate two people being with one, like three people being with one beer token, so to speak. So I sat in my seat and watched them all having a mooch around on the stage. The other thing to mention about that is that there isn't like an allotted time you can go up. Just any time before the show starts, you are available to go up and, given your beer token, receive your beer, which is a great idea. However, that does mean that some people use that to get on there relatively early and stay on towards the bitter end, to the point that I was sat in my seat with my watch saying 7:31, and there is still one group of women who will not get off that stage. Just saying. The experience and the collection of people who go to see the show, especially on a Saturday night, which is when I went, is unlike anything else you will have in the West End at that time. I fear that it could get slightly rowdy. People are there to have a good time, I have no problem with that, but there's a difference between having a good time and then not being respectable, and that's where we've got to get that balance. The last thing that I want to mention that I really enjoyed about being at the Arts and seeing the show is how they've made both the waiting area and also the auditorium area into like a really nice feeling warm pub atmosphere. There is photos everywhere of all the variable different casts that have done the show since its humble beginnings. So you have the likes of the first West End cast, you have pictures of the various different here, there, and everywhere casts, such as the Toronto cast and some of the cruise ship casts, and also the Coventry cast. So it was really nice to see my first cast dotted here, there and everywhere around the whole of the Arts Theatre. In fact, it became slightly a little competition between me and my friends. We were trying to find who could find the most of them and point them out and go, oh, it's him, and oh, it's them, and oh, it's Ryan, and it's Connor. I loved it. It was a great experience, and I liked those touches. To some people it's just like, yeah, that's a picture on the wall, but if you've seen the show before, you kind of become enveloped with them and be part of them. It's like I say, it's like a pub atmosphere, and therefore you kind of feel like you're just spotting your mates again, and that's just lovely. As I said in my commentary review, which I will try and remember to link down below, this show doesn't really have a plot as such. There is monologues in between the songs, and the songs are varied, kind of jukeboxy in the way that the songs are all a cappella and lightly sprinkled instruments versions of well-known songs, such as songs from Avicii, Paul Simon, Pink, no not Pink, Katy Perry and Sia, to name but a few. There was actually one song in this version that wasn't in the Coventry version, and there were bits of dialogue that weren't in my Coventry version, so I feel like this show is always changing, but not really, if that makes sense. It probably does not, but I really enjoyed how the whole show progressed. And what I really enjoyed about the show is that we had 4 swings on, so a bit similar to 6, where you have the named cast for each role, but there's also swings involved. I feel like it's a great thing about this show in that you can see one cast one time, but then the next time someone might be on for a different role, and those swings, to my knowledge, do a couple of the other roles too. So for example, I recently saw a picture of one of my swings from my show doing a completely different track. I just love that. I love how they are so interchangeable, but they also are different characters, if that makes sense. It's brilliantly done, and I really enjoyed every single person up there on that stage. In our performance, like I said, we had 4 swings on. Get in my notebook. So in our performance we had Gavin Ryan as the poet, Sam Ebenezer as Maestro, Mark Irwin as Joker, and Lucas Koch as Beast. Alongside those we had Matt Beveridge playing his normal role as the romantic, Levi Tyrrell Johnson as their normal role Hardman, Lemuel Knights as barman, and Matt Norton as the boar, and finally Jordan Oliver as the handyman. Whew, that was a lot. Every single individual in that cast were top notch. I think a few also had audience members. Oh, hang on, try that one again. I think a few of the people in the cast, especially Gavin, who was the poet, had a family in, and that just makes everything a little bit special anyway. I really enjoyed watching every single member of that cast do their thing. There were a few tears at a few moments in the show, which then sets me off, but they were happy tears, they were loving tears, and it just all linked in perfectly to everything else that was going on during the show. Plus, it was really lovely to see Lemuel Knights again. I last saw him do What's New Pussycat at the Birmingham Rep. I am a massive fan of his work, just from seeing him in What's New Pussycat and now this. He can do no wrong in my eyes, and I think he's absolutely fantastic. So it was really cool to see him as the barman. Plus, I did not know that that man plays the sax. I'm sorry. Speaking of the saxophone, each member of the choir individually at some point played some kind of instrument, some more out there instruments than others, but on top of that we had the 4-person strong band who played various instruments on the top layer and just brought something special to the evening. Obviously we didn't have that in Coventry, so it was again something completely different and a new way of experiencing this show. And I feel like having that band up the top just made the whole thing a lot more in the moment and a bit more concerty, which is not a bad thing with this show. It's really good to watch and you just feel like you're part of it. You're in a pub, there's a live band playing, the men in the pub are singing as well. It's just a great time for all. We sat mid stalls and there was no problems with sight. I don't think there would be at any point in the arts. I kind of feel like I have to go and do some visiting of different places in that theatre to see if there is any difference in the show. We were just in the right area to receive various freebies from the stage, including another bar mat, this time with a cast member who was not on. Also received a free packet of crisps, which I later ate. There are a few things that come out and off the stage, so to speak, and I feel like you're more likely to get those if you're in the front stalls, but who knows, if somebody doesn't like crisps they can send it backwards at you. Yeah, it's a great time. It was a great Saturday night, and it is perfect to go and watch because it's just so upbeat, so joyful. You feel just so happy when you're leaving, and like I say, you've just got that great community feeling, and it's just an absolutely brilliant show, which of course I'll be going to go back and watch because there are now people that I haven't seen doing different roles and I kind of feel like I need to watch them all. That is my excuse and I am sticking to it. This show is currently selling tickets until early February, but I can see this not being the end for this show. If it still continues to have the run it is currently having, then hopefully it will stick around. It will be another great short show to catch before you catch a train, or just if you're just feeling down and low and you need someone or something to watch, Choir of Man is your place to go. I think you can tell I truly love it. I loved it first time round and seeing it the second time has not changed my opinion. It is a great show, it is worth a watch and I think everyone should go and see it. But that is my thoughts. If you have any questions, or like always, leave them down below and I will try my best to answer them, or I will send you somewhere for more information. But other than that, I'm going to leave you here, say thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye everyone.